What's going on, guys? Jeffrey here. Today I'm going back to the tech roots. I am going to be doing a complete review on the Nintendo Switch. Before I do that, I would like to have you mind a few things. For one, I've had this Switch now for about a few weeks. That's why there's no boxing or anything. As most of you guys who have seen me in the past know that I'm very in-depth when it comes to reviews and things like that. So sit back and relax and enjoy this review of the Nintendo Switch. So on the Nintendo Switch, when you buy your initial unit, this is what it will come with unless you buy one that has games tied to it. The base station, which I already have hooked up to my TV, and then the system itself. I will do more of an operation systems review here in just a minute because I'm going to do it on a big screen TV that I have sitting here. But as you can tell, it's a very small system. If you have a big screen TV, kind of one of the nicer sides of this is that, like, let's say I'm at home, for example, and I decide I want to play on the big screen. Just slide it in here, just like this. My TV's already switching over to it, which is completely fine. I wasn't in the middle of anything. I'll get to this in just a minute. And just play. Now, or if you want to, let's say, leave your house, you just pick it up and you walk away with it. Most of your games are pretty much your standard Nintendo games. Such as it does have some more of the classic games on there. I am going to do a review on that. Sorry if it's a little blurry at a later date on the individual games themselves. Now, the games themselves are actually getting a little bit smaller. Let me step back behind me. I got a nifty little case for it and a controller. I'm going to do a review on both at a later date. But the games, cartridges themselves, they're going back to the Nintendo DS style cartridges and digital download games, which is really nice. And then, like, let's say, for example, you're at home and you want to play on the big screen. There's a button usually in the back you need to press, but because I have these covers on them, the button's already pressed for me. And these can hold in your hand. And these fit in your hand pretty well when you're playing one player. So they are pretty nice when you're playing one player. The only issue, there are a couple of issues with these little handheld controllers I've been running into. First of all, is when you're playing a two-player, you have to play like this. I have gigantor hands. These little controllers don't exactly cut it. So that's one of the cons behind it. Now the Switch comes with its own built-in storage, but here's the tricky part, is it's mounted in the back, right behind the kickstand, which is really hard to see right now. And it's really difficult to get to, but once you get there, you can put any kind of SD card in there and it'll format it for you. So this is the physical, like I said, device. I'll go into more of the operating system for you now. Okay, guys, this is the actual operating system itself. I have it docked on the actual docking station. This is my big screen you're kind of looking at. Now, like I said, the controllers, unless you're running two hands, it's kind of difficult, but for me to play, because I've got bigger hands unless I'm using two-handed, so right now I have switched to my controller. But the operating system layout, as you can tell, it's more of a tile type of format, and that means they're all inactive tiles. right now this is the game I have active, Mario Kart 8, because I was playing it the other day. Or actually more like last night. And then uh, you have some other games that I personally own. Now, there's one thing I love about this is that game systems in the past used to not tell you when not all the time when things are either digitally downloaded or disc. The Switch does. For example, I'm over Mario Kart right now, and it has a image of a card on it. That means it requires a physical card to play. If I go over to Crash Bandicoot, same thing. And then if it doesn't have the card, that means it's digital and I can play it. I think most of mine are digital, except for 3 or 4 of my games. Here's all the games I currently own. So like I said, more of a tile format. And then you have your normal settings. You can set it to sleep mode. And then you can system set it. You can edit the controllers, the album. Then you can go to your album and see. These are a few of the photos that I have personally taken, most of them by accident. I have posted a few on my personal Facebook page for more fun. Now, and then they'll also give you the current news, and you can subscribe to different channels. Right now, I'm just strictly on the Nintendo channel because I don't use this very much. But it is kind of nice because you can keep up with what, like, here's the new one, Jurassic Times Call for Jurassic Measures. ARK Survival Evolved is coming out soon for the Switch, so I can see different things that have come out, games with demos, free to start games. Here's the news about the Super Smash Brothers, Warframe, which is a game I personally own. So you can see what exactly is going on the news feed, and you can find and add other channels. You can see what's popular and things like that. So it is pretty nice because you can keep up with the latest and greatest and what everybody else is saying, and it also allows for social interaction. Now, the one good side about the social interaction is it does connect to your Facebook and YouTube, and it does connect to social media. So the nice side of it is that, so let's say I create a video, I did at one point, I had one up, you would go to your albums and you can share it there. There's a problem I personally have with it, and that is that the videos do not last they're not an extreme amount of time. They're only set up to capture a certain moment in time. So like a big thing that happened, for example, if I was playing Outlast and I had a jump scare, I could record the last 30 seconds, but you can't exactly live stream on a Switch unless you have some sort of external device hooked up to it. So that's kind of the bad part of it. But unless you're I'm a big gamer. I don't do much of online streaming, so it's not that big a deal. Plus, there are other ways around that. Plus, it's using your another camera like I'm doing right now. So that's not that big a deal to me personally. But the feel of it is really nice. The operating system itself. They do have a Nintendo eShop. There's my Mii. Yes, they did bring the Miis back. I do want to mention that. So you can create a Mii, which is really nice, and you can see other people's Mii. Now, I will say this. This is the Nintendo Switch store, or the Nintendo store. It is pretty nice. Now, right now, in my personal opinion, a lot of their games, they're more on the lighter side. And what I mean by that is, on the lighter side, is that it's more of 8-bit Nintendo-style games. There are more games coming out and on the way. So, like, if I view all, I'm going to switch that from release date old to new. I'm going to swap that real quick. So, you can see a lot of remakes, if you can see my screen real well, coming out, some new ones, but they're saying that there are newer games being designed and things coming out in the years to come. So that's one of the other downfalls that I'm finding is there's not much long lines of games at this moment. Now, will there be more? Yes. Nintendo is big Indian givers. They're notorious for this type of stuff, where they will only give so much of one thing and then call it a day. Nintendo also has come out, though, I will say, with something new. If you're into the classic games, they have what's called Nintendo Switch Online. Now, as some of you guys know, I am a lot older, so I am not going to show you this because this is my personal account, my subscription, but they have what's called Nintendo Switch Entertainment System, and that's where you can go online and play it's either an online based system where you can play with friends. There's a list of some of the games that are supported. I currently have it. I actually own Mario Kart 8 right now because I was playing it earlier. Rocket League's another one. I haven't played it too much. It's free to download, and the subscription is not that much. So, but I will do a more in-depth review on this another day. That's a whole nother entire video within itself because there's a lot of features with it. So I will do that soon. And then the other good thing is they've continued the codes. You can, if you buy a game from an external source, you can go on there and put in your own source code. But that's a look kind of the operating system. Like I said, nice and smooth. It's really cool. It's a very nice system. So guys, that's the review of the Nintendo Switch. There are other features behind it, but that's kind of the basics of it. Kind of the pros and cons behind it. The pros is it's a very small system. You can pick it up and just walk away. You can put it in that nifty case I showed you, which I will do a review on later, and walk away with it. The games are both new school and old school, as in, you saw the membership program on there, which also allows you to play online. The membership amounts are cheaper than most game systems, which is extremely nice that it's really cheap. The actual system itself, all the way around, is very, very nice. Now, a few of the cons behind it. Right now, one of the big cons is that the controller is very small, unless you're playing, two-handed, that you can wirelessly. If you're playing one-handed, it's very difficult. So I use my bigger controller whenever I can. Another con is that the game selections are very light right now. But as time progresses, Nintendo will come out with more games. So that just takes some time. Personally, I'm giving this video my 100% thumbs up. It's a very great system. It's very innovative, and it's very Nintendo. It's their style. It's their speed. So I would give this a very, very good buy if you can, because of how different it is. It's not one of those. It's one of those types of systems that, because one thing I look for in buying a system is that can I turn around a couple of months later and buy the same thing on PC? Nintendo, 90% of the time, you can't, unless you know other ways to do it through emulators and things like that. So, but I would definitely give this a considerable buy. This has been one of the best investments I've had for a long time. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please follow me or like or subscribe. And if you have any comments, please leave them below. I must ask, though, that you have nothing but respect in the comments, please. And I will be filtering those as well, and I'll get those answered as fast as possible. So, later, guys.